The Leviathan is a mythical sea creature referenced in various religious texts, particularly in the Bible. It is often depicted as a massive, powerful and fearsome sea monster, symbolizing chaos, destruction, or God's power over creation. It is described both as a serpent and dragon, although these terms do not have a distinct difference in meaning in ancient texts. The Hebrew word for Leviathan has a root meaning of twisted or coiled. In Psalm 104, Leviathan is presented as part of God's creation, playing in the sea.
Here is the sea, great and wide, which teems with creatures innumerable, living things both small and great. There go the ships, and Leviathan, which you formed to play in it.
The Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish apocryphal text, describes Leviathan along with another monstrous creature, Behemoth.
And on that day 2 monsters were separated, a female monster named Leviathan, to dwell in the abyss of the ocean over the fountains of the waters. But the male is named Behemoth, who occupied with his breast a waste wilderness named Duidain, on the east of the garden where the elect and righteous dwell.
Another apocryphal text, 2 Esdras, mentions Leviathan in the context of creation.
Then you kept in existence 2 living creatures, the name of one you called Behemoth, and the name of the other Leviathan. And you separated one from the other, for the 7th part, where the water had been gathered together, could not hold them both. And you gave Behemoth one of the parts that had been dried up on the 3rd day, to live in it, where there are 1,000 mountains. But to Leviathan you gave the 7th part, the watery part, and you have kept them to be eaten by whom you wish, and when you wish.
The most detailed description of the Leviathan is found in the book of Job, where God speaks to Job out of a whirlwind and describes his creation to demonstrate his omnipotence. Leviathan is portrayed as a massive, untamable sea creature that inspires awe and fear.
Can you pull in Leviathan with a fishhook, or tie down its tongue with a rope? Can you put a cord through its nose, or pierce its jaw with a hook? Will it keep begging you for mercy? Will it speak to you with gentle words? Will it make an agreement with you, for you to take it as your slave for life? Can you make a pet of it like a bird, or put it on a leash for the young women in your house? Will traders barter for it? Will they divide it up among the merchants? Can you fill its hide with harpoons, or its head with fishing spears? If you lay a hand on it, you will remember the struggle and never do it again. Any hope of subduing it is false. The mere sight of it is overpowering. No one is fierce enough to rouse it. Who then is able to stand against me? Who has a claim against me that I must pay? Everything under heaven belongs to me. I will not fail to speak of Leviathan's limbs, its strength and its graceful form. Who can strip off its outer coat? Who can penetrate its double coat of armor? Who dares open the doors of its mouth, ringed about with fearsome teeth? Its back has rows of shields, tightly sealed together, each is so close to the next, that no air can pass between. They are joined fast to one another, they cling together and cannot be parted. Its snorting throws out flashes of light, its eyes are like the rays of dawn. Flames stream from its mouth, sparks of fire shoot out, smoke pours from its nostrils, as from a boiling pot over burning reeds. Its breath sets coals ablaze, and flames dart from its mouth. Strength resides in its neck, dismay goes before it. The folds of its flesh are tightly joined, they are firm and immovable. Its chest is hard as rock, hard as a lower millstone. When it rises up, the mighty are terrified. They retreat before its thrashing. The sword that reaches it has no effect, nor does the spear or the dart or the javelin. Iron it treats like straw, and bronze like rotten wood. Arrows do not make it flee. Sling stones are like chaff to it. A club seems to it but a piece of straw. It laughs at the rattling of the lance. Its undersides are jagged potsherds, leaving a trail in the mud like a threshing sledge. It makes the depths churn like a boiling cauldron, and stirs up the sea like a pot of ointment. It leaves a glistening wake behind it. One would think the deep had white hair. Nothing on earth is its equal, a creature without fear. It looks down on all that are haughty. It is king over all that are proud.
The creature is described with vivid imagery. Its flesh is like the strongest armor. It breathes flames from its mouth like a dragon. It is described as being so powerful that no human weapon can defeat it. A number of texts reference prophecy and end times depicting a final battle where God defeats Leviathan and feeds it to the righteous or to other animals. The book of Isaiah portrays Leviathan as a symbol of evil that God will defeat in the end times.
In that day, the Lord with his hard and great and strong sword will punish Leviathan the fleeing serpent, Leviathan the twisting serpent, and he will slay the dragon that is in the sea.
In Psalm 74, Leviathan is depicted as a multi-headed sea serpent that is defeated by God.
You crushed the heads of Leviathan. You gave him as food for the creatures of the wilderness.
The Talmud, a central text of Rabbinic Judaism, also discusses Leviathan in the context of messianic prophecy.
When Leviathan is hungry, he emits fiery breath from his mouth and causes all the waters of the deep to boil. For it is said, he maketh the deep to boil like a pot. And if he were not to put his head into the Garden of Eden, no creature could stand his foul odour. For it is said, he maketh the sea like a spiced broth. When he is thirsty, he makes numerous furrows in the sea. For it is said, he maketh a path to shine after him. The Holy One, blessed be he, will in time to come make a banquet for the righteous from the flesh of Leviathan. For it is said, companions will make a banquet of it. Kira must mean a banquet, for it is said, and he prepared for them a great banquet, and they ate and drank. The rest of Leviathan will be distributed and sold out in the markets of Jerusalem. For it is said, they will part him among the Kenaanim, and Kenaanim must mean merchants. The Holy One, blessed be he, will in time to come make a tabernacle for the righteous from the skin of Leviathan. For it is said, canst thou fill tabernacles with his skin? If a man is worthy, a tabernacle is made for him. If he is not worthy of this, a mere covering is made for him. For it is said, and his head with a fish covering. If a man is sufficiently worthy, a covering is made for him. If he is not worthy even of this, a necklace is made for him. For it is said, and necklaces about thy neck. If he is worthy of it, a necklace is made for him. If he is not worthy even of this, an amulet is made for him. As it is said, and thou wilt bind him for thy maidens. The rest of Leviathan will be spread by the Holy One, blessed be he, upon the walls of Jerusalem, and its splendor will shine from one end of the world to the other.
These texts depict Leviathan in varying roles, from a symbol of chaos and evil to a creature to be defeated and used in a divine banquet and made into trinkets, or its skin used to cover tabernacles. The imagery of Leviathan in these texts often carries deep symbolic meaning and reflects broader themes of divine power, chaos, and the ultimate triumph of good over evil. The theme of God fighting and defeating Leviathan in the end times appears throughout biblical and Jewish literature. It reflects a broader narrative of divine victory over chaos and evil, reinforcing God's sovereignty and the ultimate restoration of cosmic order. The imagery serves as a powerful metaphor for hope, redemption, and divine justice.